welcome back to my channel, Sekafet. Hope everybody is doing well. To all my subscribers, thank you. And if you're new to this channel, welcome, darling. So today we're continuing the series of Canada immigration. We started it and I basically asked you guys if you were interested to hit me up in the comments, and a few of you all hit me up in the comments saying that you were interested, as well as DM me and was just like, yeah, I want to know more about this process and so forth. So as promised, I'm just gonna break down each step with a separate video. So you could just basically have it for reference. If you're at any stages, you could come back to these videos and use it as your reference. Step number one from the video that I'm speaking about, which would be linked down in the description by the way, is to calculate your CRS score. Just before we even get into calculating your CRS score, just want to apologize. I held back on these videos a bit because I know we're dealing with so much in the world right now with corona and so forth, like people's minds are not on moving and so forth. But I think I promised you guys this video, so I'm just gonna try to release a few of them, because I mean, I keep my promises, you know. And I mean, even before, like, step number one is calculating your CRS score, but even back history of step number one is really deciding whether you want to move, you know. I made the decision to move because God specifically at that time confirmed that a move was necessary, and my husband and I were really thankful that we listened to the voice of God and we moved when he asked us to move, because we obviously don't regret our decision. I was a high school teacher and I wore one of my shirts my darling students made for me when I was leaving, because it always just brings back so much memories to me. These are their names. Yes, and they are so dear to my heart, all of them. I don't want to call no name before nobody think I left out their names. I love them so much. So when you have to move, it's kind of like a very tough decision. You have to like think about when you get on the other side, you know, what's gonna happen and so forth. And so choosing the right immigration method for you is very important. Okay, I'm speaking about express entry, but it may not be the best route for you. There are other routes to Canada. It's not just express entry. We will delve into a few other routes after I'm done with the express entry series. I just feel like I'm more knowledgeable about the express entry route because that's the route that I took. So I basically can tell you about that route because that's just what I did. So yeah, you just have a lot of things to put into perspective when moving. You have to just always realize, like, sometimes when you get there, it can be a bit tough at first to just sink into the system, but once you give it time, it all just flows and so forth. Now to step number one. Before step number one, back history of step number one, you've made up your mind that you want to move. And now step number one is doing your research and express entry. If you're interested in that route, your step number one should be to calculate your CRS score. One of the reasons is that you need to know whether you are eligible for that route. Now, as I said before, express entry is a route that's a points-based system. You get points based on a number of factors. It could be just a wide range of factors, your age, whether you speak French. It's a numerous factors that we're going to look at in a moment. And depending on your end score, then you could like potentially be placed in a pool and rank high enough to get an invitation to apply. And once you get that invitation to apply, then you can go ahead and apply for PR. Now, it's targeted to skilled workers, it's targeted to educated people, and so you find the factors that carry the most weight are basically based on education, work experience in Canada and so forth, and out of Canada slightly a little bit, and yeah, but education, because they're really targeting that's foreign skilled workers, trying to bring them across, you know, to basically help the economy be productive and so forth. So you follow the link in the description and you go to CRS Calculator. I'm gonna try to put it up on the screen. And as soon as you go to CRS Calculator, you will see comprehensive ranking system tools, skilled immigrants, express entry, so forth. You scroll down and please read, don't be like me, just read. And they said use this tool if you're eligible for at least express entry program and you've not filled out the express entry profile, which is you because you've not done any of that as yet, and you'd like to see what your CRS score would be if you were to do so. First question that they ask you is, what is your marital status? So you would go ahead and you would select, and there are like a few options: married, single, and so forth. So you would put what applies to you, and like that is not a tool that's affecting you, so you can play around with the factors and see, you know, if certain things would give you more points and so forth. I did that in the past. But I don't think married or single doesn't like affect you so much. They kind of balance it in terms of married and single. So don't feel like you have to get married to do expansion. Mind me, people. Okay. So the next one says basically, is your spouse a common law partner in Canada? You basically answer that truthfully. Will your spouse or common law come with you? If you have a partner that's gonna come with you, just basically answer that correctly. How old are you? So now we're on question number 3. How old are you? Let me just tell you, the younger you are, the more points you're gonna get. I'm not the one who created the point system, but I'm just gonna tell you off the bat, the younger you are, the more points you get. So the older you get, the more you lose points for the age factor. So they're targeting young, educated, skilled workers. So the older you are, the less points you get in that section. What is your level of education for which you've earned a Canadian degree or diploma, or you have an educational assessment, ECA? And I will talk about ECA in a later video because I think it's falling another step after we've done this. But just to let you know, for your education, you have to get an education credential assessment done. It happens before you even put in a profile. So you need to get your education assessed, and basically they assess your education to know whether it is equivalent to a Canadian degree or whatever. So now when you're selecting your degree or whatever it is, I want you to pay particular attention. There are some people who have a bachelor's degree and sometimes you did a certificate prior to the bachelor's degree. So for example, in Dominica, where I am from, we go to we do state college and then we go on to do our bachelor's degree, right? So your state college is an associate's degree. It's not like it's different than your bachelor's degree. So if you've done an associate's degree and then you have a bachelor's degree, do not choose the bachelor's degree option. You want to make sure you choose the 2 or more certificates and diplomas. The higher you go, the more points you get in that. So you have 2 or more certificates, and then you have a master's degree, and then you have a doctoral level. So basically that's what I chose, which gave me enough points to qualify. Your bachelor's degree, I have a bachelor's degree, but I also did state college, my associate's degree, so I got both of them assessed separately, and I basically could qualify for that option of 2 or more certificates. And even though you transfer credits into one, it does not matter. Once you have a bachelor's degree and you also have an associate's degree, you could choose that option. Or any other certificate that's at least 1 year, you could go ahead and choose that option once you get it assessed separately. And that sometimes, that is a little key there. Many people choose their highest education, which at times is a bachelor's degree, and they don't get enough points. But you could choose the 2 or more if you have any other certificate that's at least 1 year. You know, choose the 2 or more. You're gonna thank me for this tip. If it applies to you, you're gonna thank me for this tip. And they said, have you earned a Canadian degree, diploma, or certificate? I don't know if that applies to you. You need to go and you need to say yes or no. Your official language, Canada's official language, is English and French. Okay, it's to me, I think it's mostly English, in the exception of Quebec and Montreal. I think everywhere else speaks mostly English. But yeah, they say their official language is English and French. So you need to submit language test results, which is true. Again, you would need to do the IELTS test even before putting in your profile. The IELTS test is another area. I cannot stress how much it is important for you to take your IELTS test seriously. We're gonna talk all about the IELTS test later on in another video because I know it's fallen another step, but IELTS test is so important. Are your results less than 2 years old? You would want to click yes, because if you click no, they're gonna tell you sorry, you don't qualify. Just click yes, because you have to do it anyhow. You're just trying to know what your score will be in case you score that on the test, you know. So which language test it was your first official? You would take IELTS test. Enter your test scores. Now just guess, what do you think you get in an English test where they're testing your speaking? To be honest with you, I'm going to talk all about IELTS test in another video, so I'm not going to waste much time on it. Just choose what you think your rank is going to be. and then speaking, listening, reading, writing, and so forth. So, do you have any other languages? You would select TEF or TFC. That is if you can speak French and you want to take a French test. You would have to take the TEF Canada or the TFC Canada, and basically input your results there. This little section there is going to give you so much more points because Canada ranks people who speak French higher. So if you speak French, or you just have a French background and you think you could do well on this test, even though you might not do extremely well, just by taking this test and getting a little something on it might boost up your score. So you want to take that into consideration. I'm just putting not applicable. And just let you know, the IELTS test as well, the higher your score, the more points you get. So you want to maybe put the highest maximum for the IELTS test and really try to aim to get that, so yeah. Your work experience now, the very first work experience question, number 6, they're asking you how many years of skilled work experience in Canada do you have. Now, if you've not worked in Canada, you want to put none or less than a year in that section there because you've not worked in Canada clearly. Then they will say, and if you have worked in Canada, just put in the information. And they will say in the last 10 years, how many total years of foreign skilled work experience do you have? And you basically put whatever it is. If it's 3 or more years, because you don't get points for higher than that. So 3 or more years, you would select that as your option. Or if you have 1 year of foreign experience or what, just let you know, whatever you put there, you have to prove it on later on. So if you don't have skilled work experience, then do not put anything. And when I say skilled work experience, they mean occupation that is skill type 0, A or B. Now, 0, A or B is NOC Codes. They call them NOC Codes. Occupation classification. I can't remember what the N stands for. But I will link down the link that takes you directly to the NOC Codes dictionary, where you could input your occupation and it could tell you what do they rank your skilled occupation as. So if you're a teacher, they'll tell you if it's A, B, or C, or if it's 0. Most likely, I think higher managers and so forth are zeros. So they consider that as skilled workers. If it is something like a waitress, then I don't think they would consider it as skilled. It might be ranked as a D and it's not considered as a skilled, so you won't get points for that. So you want to ensure that your job is falling within the category that they are giving points for or that they're considering as skilled work. They say, do you have a certificate of qualification from a Canadian province or whatever? If that applies to you, again, you put yes or no. I think most people who are out of Canada, that's gonna be no. If you're in Canada, it might be yes. Do you have a valid job offered supported by a labor assessment, blah blah? No. There are people who go through the route by getting a job offer before arriving in Canada, and if you do put yes for that, then your score is gonna go way sky high, because come on, if you already have a job out of the country, then what sense keep you out? But you have to understand, the companies here, they don't usually offer job offers to people outside of Canada unless you have some rare skill that is scarce in Canada, because they have to pay a lot of money on their part to get you there. So companies, it's not something that's usual. And I know there are scams on the internet, so you need to be careful of that, where people tell you have a job offer and all this drama. Companies have to pay a lot of money to get you there. And so probably if you're some kind of engineer or some I don't know, you have a rare skill, then you could prove to them that you deserve that job, then they'll offer you a job. They don't mind pay for you because you have some rare qualifications or some rare experience. But for the common person, it's not usual, so yeah, just keep that in mind. So I would you go ahead and select no. Do you have a nomination certificate? Again, that nomination certificate that they're speaking about is reference to whether a province is nominating you to come up. So different provinces, they have their own programs where they nominate people, and again, it's ranked based on your skill, your experience. Probably you have some rare skill or experience in the province, in that particular province is scarce, and they basically nominate you to get express entry, then you will get a lot of points for that. Now, their nominations happen all the time, and you could just check the website again, like go for the Canada website and go to see the nomination. But I know when a province nominates you, you have to work in that province for a certain amount of time before you could move anywhere else. I think there is like flexibility with that option. Do you have a spouse or common law partner who come with you, for at least a brother or sister as a Canada permanent resident or citizen? If you put yes, you get an extra 15 points for that. So if you have any relative who is in Canada and the person doesn't have to pay any money, they probably just have to like say they are your relative. So I know sometimes we have relatives we're not close to, and you have people overseas you maybe not close to them. That's fine. Like if you just have somebody there and the person just have to say like, yes, she's my sister, they don't have to pay any money for you or anything, you get an extra 15 points. And trust me, 15 points is a lot of points. You basically follow the same steps for your spouse as you did for yourself, and if you're single, then they won't ask you these questions, so you just move on, you know. And then you see calculate your score. So when you click on calculate your score, then it tells you what your results are. They will tell you core human capital factors. How much did you score for age? How much did you score for your level of education? Whether you studied in Canada, if you got points for that. Your official language, if your official language was your first official language is English, you get points for that as well. Canadian experience, spousal factors, any skill transferable factors. Now, skill transferable factors, they are the ones that have their kind of way they put it. Your official language and proficiency education, I guess if something bounces off something, you get 50 points. So they alone that know what they consider as transferable factors and so forth. Human factors and so forth. Core capital, human factors, having a sibling and everything. And when you add up everything, it gives you a grand total right there. And my grand total, I mean, just putting in my factors, it's saying 478 points. Now, how do you interpret that? Is I will put a link again down in the description that basically tells you all the express entry draws that were previous draws, so you can know where you rank or where you fall. Okay, so the last draw was CEC specific, and sometimes they do that. Sometimes there are draws that are specific classes, like Canadian experience class. That's what CEC stands for. So they might not like release a draw to the entire world. Sometimes they do that. You just don't know how the draws are coming. Sometimes it's PNP specific, provincial nomination only, you know, and then sometimes it's generally for everybody. The last one that was generally for everybody was on like March 4th, where they issued 3,900 invitations, and the score at that time was 471. If you had a score that was above 471 after filling in the CRS calculator, even a score that's above 470, I would say that you have a very good chance of applying and getting your PR. And some of the benefits of having permanent residency is that you basically come in and you have access to healthcare and education, you know, is much cheaper. Education benefits, like you just have access to more benefits versus if you come on a different route. So my people, I really do hope that you enjoyed this video, that I tried to explain step number 1 to the best of my ability. But step number 1, you've completed the step, you think you have enough points, you are accurate, and if you don't, at least you know which factors are giving you points, so where you need to improve on to stand a chance in the future. You know what I mean? I think anything you want in life, if you have enough perseverance, you could get it. You just need to go after it with everything. So guys, I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed explaining this video to you. I mean, like, talking about my route is always like, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notification if you like this video, or you have any questions about step number 1. Feel free to hit me up in the comments. I will gladly respond to you. So thank you once more for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Catch you on the next one.